Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Alright guys, welcome to War Room. This is episode number 13, and I'm just going to keep talking no matter what my guests say, because I don't trust them. For the first time, we're not late. Oh, god damn it, Nanner.
Penis.
Oh, it's like we're in high school in chemistry class, and we're trying to see who can say it the loudest. For the first time, I am not going to have to blame something on Tony. It's Siri's fault we're starting late, but that's okay, because I love Siri, and he's a great guy. No homo.
It's Tony's fault we yelled penis, though.
It is Tony's fault we yelled penis. That's actually Tony's fault.
That's unfair.
Alright, so tonight we're going to talk about Marik. Finally, after 3 weeks, Tony is actually here. He knew what day it was. We don't have so much content that we're going to have to put it off to another week. So we're actually going to talk about Marik finally. And then we're going to talk about the patch notes and the narc? Question mark? Yeah. So let's go around and introduce everybody for those of you that don't know my guests tonight. Starting with Siri.
Hi, I am Seriothrax from Steel Jaguar Gaming. I am a light lead most of the time, and I do a bit of shoutcasting with Raffle here.
That indeed. And next we'll go with Versenix.
Judging by my tag this time, I am Versenix, second commando of the 228th IBR, author and staff of Mercstar.
Alright, and then we have technically the only one that actually needs to be here besides me tonight, so we can finally talk about Marik. Tony.
I'm important. Rex here. Yeah, I have my moments. Leader SWK and guy who's trying to make all this Marik shit work.
Trying is the key word there.
Yeah.
And then we have a new guest to the show, Heimdallite. Welcome. First time on. Introduce yourself.
I'm Heimdallite from Strayus Titans. I've been playing with CTR in the Remnant Invitational, and that's about it.
Alright, well welcome to the show, man. And then
Yeah,
we
thanks for having
have Nanner Hammock, who your name is actually just too long to fit on my overlay, so you're just Nanner on the show.
Yeah, I'm Nanner Hammock from SIG. It doesn't stand for anything.
Did you,
Hammock doesn't stand for anything.
We sit or lay for everything. I'm just saying.
That's a good call. Alright, so tonight we are going to talk about Marik, which is Marik Season 3. It's the third season of Marik Civil War, which is the league run by Antonius and Funky Little Elf, right?
Yeah.
Alright.
Funky Little Elf is he's a little Christmas elf who has all the software engineering skills, so he's the one in charge of our golden egg, which is that map that we love so much. It's
Yeah,
attractive.
man. It is. It looks pretty nice. Well, let's just get started with Marik then. We can move on to the patch notes, but I actually want to get through with everything there is to talk about Marik, so that's what we're going to do. So Tony, take it away. Tell us about your glorious creation.
Well, I guess a bit of an intro for Marik for anyone who doesn't know. This was initially started out by Joe Luck from the Free World League Militia. That's the big group of Marik teams. And he initially started it out as just a house league, for his house, for all the different Marik teams to play in. And he did such a good job with it, suddenly there were all these other teams that had nothing to do with Marik that wanted to get involved. And so I was one of those guys. I helped organize the first trial of position for the second wave of mercenaries that joined in midway through the campaign. So from there, he had to take a bit of a leave of absence, so I took over for him, and we just completed Season 2 successfully. It was 4 long months of fighting. It was 275 games played, an outrageous an outrageous amount of mechs were destroyed as well. Actually,
God,
I had to count.
what was that statistic? It was crazy.
I could pull it up. It was silly though.
It's fine. You don't need to look it up. Just keep
Half
going.
of them SWK and Steeljack.
Pretty much. Oh my god, it's actually a ways back. I'd have to look for it. I'll get it for you when someone else is done. So yeah, we've been doing that. Every season we come out with new rules, sort of expansion rules. We pride ourselves on it. This league is the true board game league, if there is one currently in MWO. You know, you've got that Risk-style board game. You've got 12 different people all sort of playing the politics and diplomacy and, you know, trying to stab each other in the back. And it all blends itself into an interesting campaign, you know, where it's 4 months of killing robots.
And some really good rivalries, too. I think that was the best thing I loved about us. The Marik Civil War was the rivalries that were made out of it.
Oh man, you gun for other people. You're like, oh, we're gonna fucking get them. It's like even if it's people that you practice with all the time, you're
Your
still like,
best
we're
friends,
going
you're
to
like,
get
we're
them.
gonna crush their souls.
Oh yeah, like Luna. Like I fucking
Yeah,
like
they
I
eat
love
their
the
babies
I love
is
the
what it
shit
is.
out of Luna. Like they were the best. And it was like, oh no, we're just gonna totally fuck Luna. Let's go. All right, start.
And you know what, perhaps that's one of the differences, especially last season of competitive play. It was the only league where it seemed like you would play a team more than the one time. And so you definitely saw that in Season 2. You'd have some big rivalries, you know, Steeljag, SWK playing each other once a turn for every turn, you know, over and over again. And you got the same thing going on between BSK and Luna Wolves, and then 228th and both of them, as well as, you know, QQ and Remnant going at it over and over. I know Jade Falcon and Aces had a couple of series between them. So, lots of good rivalries and lots of room to explore those rivalries.
I was gonna say, if I have another no ECM, no jump jet match, I think I'm gonna shoot myself.
Not only that, but now it's gonna be no ECM, no jump jets, no air, no arty.
The air no
Aaron
arty,
Arty
that
is
happens.
No, I'm fine with that. Unless they change it midway through and it's like only and it's actually where it's supposed to be.
Talking about no air and no arty, Rex, what are the new things for this season?
So hang on to that thought. We'll get to that.
Oh, he's got a whole intro written up. We're getting it so in the way right now. I'm so happy about it.
Rex has a script.
Well, so I mean, America's grown. We've got a bunch of new rules, a bunch of new teams playing. We're actually at over 22 teams signed up right now.
Whoa,
which is
seriously?
outrageous. We've doubled the number of teams we had last time.
That is sick.
And
really
for the
good.
record, last season we had, from my counting, we had the most number of games played in any single MWO campaign, and we just doubled our participation. Like, this is going to get silly. Robots
Yeah,
are going to get
that's-
blown up.
That's North American only, right?
It is unfortunately North America only. We've had some requests from some European units to play. It's just can't mix the NA with the EU easily because, you know, if you say, well, okay, you got to play Saturday or Sunday from 2 p.m. till 5 p.m. Eastern. That's like the
Yeah.
only. And so maybe you could say, okay, every team has to play a European team once or twice over the course of the campaign, but you can't do it all the time, right? I know there's
No.
probably
Yeah.
not
'cause
that many
remember-
teams that can commit to that, right?
Remember OMC, Oceanic Merc Corps, and how every NA team had to play them at least once, and it was like an issue 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they were
for
playing.
I was gonna
so-
say, I work weekends. I can't pull it. I have 12 hours of awesomeness at work, so
Yeah. And so then you get into the area of, okay, well, you know, America's all about you kind of get to choose who you attack and, you know, go against different factions, and the European thing really throws a wrench into that. So I'd love to get them in. Perhaps if we had enough interest, we could do a pure EU league, though that would require quite a few EU teams. I'm not opposed to the idea. It's just, unfortunately, this league in particular has trouble handling the Atlantic divide, as it were.
And this league has a lot of games to be played. I think when we were in Marik last season was one of the... Oh, no, we were doing Proxys too. That's why we were so busy. But if...
That was only at the end, though.
True. But, I mean, there was that one round where... What was it?
All
Nine
three
attacks?
factions attacked us.
Right.
There were many games played that week, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I remember us playing 5 games in a row. Now we did have one RHOD game in there, but yeah, 5 games in 1 week sucks.
Oh, yeah.
That's brutal, man.
Yeah, I think Marik overall, at least from appearances, because 228 hasn't been in all of the other leagues, was the most match intensive under a certain time limit.
Well, and that's
I've seen.
That was for me was part of the really. I'm just gonna bring up the new map really quick just so I can show like. So you fight on these factions, and it's very possible that you just get totally ganged up on by everybody, which really makes you feel like you're actually fighting for something, because it's like, oh, this week's easy, you've got, 2 matches, blah, 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 blah. Next week, it's like, well, we have 6 matches to play this week, and 3 of them are today. And it's like, well, okay, let's fucking go then. Time to get my try-hard on. So yeah, I don't know, I'm a big fan. But yeah, so do you have more word expelling to do, Tony, or do you want to talk about the changes?
Well, that's it. The big thing I think people are looking to hear about is the expansion rules for Season 3.
That is indeed what I think most people are looking forward to.
So, you've got this link here. Let's start with this stuff. Couple of complaints. Well, the things that we wanted to improve on from the last season was the map, definitely. The map had a bit of a Chinese checkerboard feel to it, definitely. And there were some issues where, because you had to Atreus, the center planet, was such a big deal, you would see teams push into that and try to fortify it, and it made it hard if you were on opposing sides of the universe from each other to actually sort of get across the map and attack, right? So we've done a bunch of things to mix up the middle. You want to pull the map back up for me there,
It's back up, yep.
Okay. Remember, we're on a 30-second delay.
There we go, that's it.
Fucking Twitch.
So, on the map there, this is my little 12-year-old drawing of it. Obviously, the Christmas elf will make it far prettier. Point being, so if you take a look at those center planets that I've circled, those planets are all going to start neutral. So we're going to have a pre-meeting before we start scheduling battles where we'll go around in initiative order and teams will pick those planets. So essentially what that's going to give us is a fair yet randomized starting location. Everyone will have the same number of planets, but you'll have a choice. Do we want to pick planets close to us, sort of fortify our border, or do we want to pick planets across the map from us, set up a bit of a forward staging area on someone else's turf? And of course, other people are picking too, restricting your choices. So at the end of the day, we're going to have, rather than a purely even, in terms of, Chinese checkerboard style map, it's going to be a bit more randomized and have, let you guys decide your own destinies, as it were. Now, on the right of the map, you can see we've added 3 planets on the far right, and then 2 neutral above and below it. So that extension is going to apply to all 4 sides, obviously. So we're adding 3 planets per faction with a neutral planet in between all of them. And then we're going to push the previous campaign, your capital was that center planet. We're going to push it all the way to the back. One of the things that happened in the first campaign was on turn 2, your capital was being attacked. And on turn 3, it continued escalating where from turn 2 on, you were fighting for your capital every turn.
And
we wanted to push that
because the capital was worth more in terms of the campaign.
Exactly.
Points-wise, yeah.
Are there more planets worth different point values now, or is it still the same? Because
no, it's still the same. There's just 12, 16 more planets being added to the map.
Okay, but so there aren't going to be planets that are like more strategic other than Atreus and the capitals?
Yes. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Just wondering.
No, that's perfect. So, one of the goals in pushing the capitals back is that we wanted to restrict teams from, attacking those capitals right away. So the way the map is set up currently, you cannot attack a capital until turn 3, assuming you win all of your games. And so that's going to make it so that, the first couple games are each team sizing each other up, establishing those borders, and then if a team does well in those initial steps, by turn 3 you'll be able to launch that capital assault. The campaign's going on for 6 turns this season. We did 5 turns last year, so this year we're gonna have a slightly longer campaign, but that'll sort of give more of an end game to the campaign where you'll have C teams fighting over those capitals, a last-ditch effort to win for their faction.
Yeah, that was something. That was something that we saw last time. That partially it was just due to the way that the game and the map played out, but we didn't see those teams going for those last ditch effort to get those last points until like it was kind of too late.
Well,
So I definitely think another turn would be good.
last season it was pretty unbalanced.
Well, yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely the bias, and then the teams teamed up on green to hit that. But you know, like it wasn't until the last turn that we suddenly saw basically green got attacked 0, and like everyone went after everyone else, figuring out that you know what, if we're gonna get second, we gotta attack the other team.
If we're gonna
I
get
don't-
second, god damn it, we're gonna get second hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like yellow got hit about halfway through. That's whenever we saw lots of our attacks, and then the very last, we saw very few games. It was complete flip. QQ got tired of attacking us, and we were like, okay, well, never mind. We're gonna go do something else. We almost pleaded with QQ not to take the game.
So I got a question for you, Rex, because it was something that came up at one point, and you know, you and I worked closely on the map. We never really discussed it. Is there anything that was built in or that you've thought of for what happens if a team gets close to elimination? Because that happened last time. I mean, green came in, and we just, between yellow and green, we almost obliterated blue completely.
Until they started their Reconquista and started pushing back
But
down.
we stopped
yes.
attacking them.
So
Yeah, we
essentially, there's a bit of a benefit for the underdog team built in. If you ever get to the point where you have, say, only 4 or 5 planets left, the attack lanes in which people can attack you become restricted. And so let's actually just look at this map right now. So you see those 5 blue planets. You could get a situation like that where, well, that one in the back corner is safe, no one can touch it. So they could only receive 4 attacks. If you take that number even lower, suddenly they can only, say, receive 2 attacks. And what that ends up doing is, yes, they can only take so many attacks, so that'll help them lighten their load, but they'll also be able to attack fully out from those points. So you'll see, 4 attacks spawning out of one planet. So nothing
Right,
really
but-
developed to, sort of like a Proxys reset, where it's like, okay, well, we've lost, let's respawn somewhere else on the map. At this point, no, there's currently nothing for that.
Yeah, just because at the end of the day, even if they are restricted in how many times they can be attacked, it still comes down to them having to win a 12-on-12 battle.
Yeah.
So
So
they
in-
could conceivably be pushed to the brink. But that's
Yeah,
only
and there's
if
those
the
new
other
cards.
people are cutthroat enough to...
Siri Alliance. Let's gang up on Tony
Why are you talking about this on the live stream?
so he knows it's coming.
That makes it worse.
Raffle needs to reattend Tactical Academy.
Nah, man. I just make all of you think that I'm tactically retarded so that it goes better for me.
He's just
That's
regularly
clever.
retarded.
He's got to drag us down to his level and beat us with experience.
It's true.
Ruff failed
That
in the clan.
So
The retard
now,
strength.
one thing with in a situation where one team does get finally wiped out, and we had this set in place last season but never had to deal with it. Hopefully we won't have to again this season.
Yeah, because that's
teams
what I was
should be
asking.
more
Because
balanced than they
basically, you and I specifically talked about not wiping out the team.
were. Yeah. So
You're like, no, you're not allowed to do that. Don't do that.
attack someone else.
Bad Mercy.
Well, but they came back strong.
With the cards that you've implemented, and I know we're going to talk about those later, it does make it a lot harder to
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, those
yeah.
cards
get
definitely.
completely wiped out.
It is going to be much harder.
See, now I want to do it just for fun.
Now you do. So you've got a challenge.
In before SJR and the 228 throw the trial of position, get ranked second and third placement on team with SWK. Oh,
228
Don't
throws
do that.
all their games.
don't do that. That would not be
Don't
fun.
fuck with the trial of position. It's
Yeah.
the only thing that keeps this thing balanced.
Come on, no. You know that 228 always has to be the underdog, so it wouldn't surprise me if we fucking just bombed our trial of position and ended up back in tier 2 and ended
Tier
up with
2.
SJR.
It wouldn't be that's the thing though, is it wouldn't be through not trying. It would just be something terrible happens.
Yeah,
None
yeah,
of
we
the
just
18
choke.
players make it, and it's like, well,
Wait.
tier 2.
Wait, what did you say? A coup?
No more. No more.
I threw him into the future.
Dude, I was just really
cool.
really quick about that. I was gone for 3 days, and I came back, and there were fucking 4 new channels in the TS, and I was like, what the hell happened? And fucking Han Solo had a BSK tag. I didn't know what to do. I was like, what?
The only Templars guy that everyone's in contact with.
I was like, well, yeah, I mean,
Han Solo still makes me
The
sad
only-
that
the
he
only
went
one,
BSK.
I was like, what happened?
The only one
what
that
did I
will talk
miss?
to you like straight up is Han.
No, man,
yeah,
they're all
they're
good guys.
very
Han is
close.
just really like easy to talk to. He's like actively seeks to talk.
You
to
mean
people.
get a hold of?
That too.
That part
Han
helps,
is
yeah.
always everywhere. It's great.
On a serious note, though,
Oh, yeah.
Rex,
Sorry.
for the people who don't know, what is the trial of position?
Tell you what, here, get right to that. The last thing just to say about the faction, if a faction did get wiped out, and as I said, it didn't happen last season, hopefully it won't happen this season, the system we have in place is all those mercenaries suddenly don't have anyone paying them. And being mercenaries, well, where's the next paycheck coming from? So at that point, we would redistribute the teams according to which, so we divvy out sort of the top team to the lowest ranked faction, next team to the next one, and so forth. And we would just divvy up those teams and make a new tier of mercenaries playing for the other factions.
Oh, cool.
So that was always the plan. It's obviously better if you don't do that, because or
Siri.
don't have to unit out.
Let's make it into 2 teams. Wipe out 2 of the factions and just make it north versus south.
If you could do that in 6 turns, I would be impressed.
I don't think it's mathematically possible because there are
No, it might be because we have
Four-
so
so
many teams,
4
we're opening
teams-
up a
Yeah,
fourth
we have
tier.
20,
so
right?
it's gonna be 4 tiers. So it's gonna be 4 tiers per team. Is it 5
Plus
teams this year?
pirates. Nope, it's four
Okay.
teams per tier.
Okay. No,
But
no,
there's
no, no.
pirates
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
that's right.
You know what that makes me think, though? A new league.
We toyed with that actually. If we get another 6 to 8 more teams won in by Sunday, we could toy with a second league, do a Premier League and a casual league maybe, but one step at a time. We're already double what we had last year, so I don't suspect we'll have that many teams sign up after tonight's episode. But if you do, well, there is an option. We could definitely look at that.
So if you fail to take a single planet, there are 12. You start with 12 planets, and if you fail to take a single planet, you could be wiped out in 4 turns. 4 turns.
If everyone ganged up on you and you lost every game, yeah.
Yep. Okay, just making sure we did that math quick.
Got to do that math. You and Siri chat
Yay,
and plan
math.
this.
Math
Because
warrior
we're
online.
assholes like that.
Yeah.
Dude, man. Hey.
Okay, so the trial of position. The whole point of the campaign is to have 4 balanced factions trying to fight, to secure leadership in the Free Worlds League. In Marik Season 1, we didn't have any balancing act in terms of the factions, and we had an open system where the house units could hire any unit, from outside of the campaign. So we actually had a system where 2 of the houses basically went and cherry-picked all the Run Hot or Die playoff teams, and it was like a arms conflict where you're just trying to stockpile the most playoff teams, and it kind of got a little out of hand. And then the other 3 factions obviously didn't have this advantage, and it was, not as balanced as one would have hoped. So that's why we've restricted how the hiring process works for mercs, and you can't do that anymore. Now what we're doing is we've expanded the trial of position where the first month of the campaign, you will just be, there's no factions yet, and you will play against other teams in your tier, and we will sort all the teams. Essentially something similar to Third World's ELO system, but obviously only applying to the teams within the league. And then from there, once we have a sort of a tier system, we've ranked all the teams accordingly, we can balance out the factions, in a fair way, so that you don't have Steeljack and SWK on the same team. Things like that. So, that's what we do for the first month. It's essentially a big round-robin tournament, and from there, we can, make as fair as factions as we can.
And you've extended the trial of position to prevent another 228 upset.
True. See, that's one of the problems from last season that he's referring to, is that in the trial of position, after we had sorted all the teams, SWK and 228th got put on the same team together. Now, at the time, 228th was Tier 2. BSK had beaten SWK in the tribal position, so SWK was the third highest of the 4 Tier A's. So, obviously, we've extended the tribal position, and we want more accurate reads, because obviously that system was partially flawed, and hopefully we'll have the most balanced factions we've had yet. Let's put it this way, it can only get better.
So how many weeks is the trial position going to be?
It's going to be roughly 4 weeks.
Okay.
We need to break it down first and see exactly how long we need. Plus, under Marik tradition, every phase needs at least a few day extension.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Obviously, we got to be a little fluid. Okay, so I guess the last we got one pre-release secret we thought we'd share on this show before we actually updated the Marik site and released that intel.
He didn't even tell me
wait,
this.
And
so.
I didn't even tell him yet.
Wait. This isn't rule stuff because you should have told me.
Definitely should have
I
told
guess?
Manor. Sure.
Lords are joining Marik.
Oh.
I don't know how they feel about Conquest mode, though.
No, probably not.
I can
Or
tell you
restrictions on
they aren't too happy with Conquest mode.
So, one of the big concepts we've added to this game is the cards. Each faction is going to have a hand of cards. There's 5 once per campaign cards that you get. Each one has a different power. And then each turn you draw one of a different kind of card. And so you'll get 1 per turn of all of those. You want to pull up the...
I've got it. The uprising,
go.
the uprising card, the
Perfect.
flank attack card, the diplomacy
So, yeah.
card.
So let's start with the first one. This is the once per turn one. You get 1 per turn. If you don't want to use it, you can save it till next turn. And you can sort of stack them a little bit. This is the add remove a restriction card. We'll find a better name for it. What this card does is you play the card when you attack a planet, and say we're playing Team A is playing Team B on a no PPC planet. So they can, as they attack it, they can say, we're going to play this card, we're going to remove the PPC restriction. So now we want to play with PC, or we want to play with PPC, so we're going to make it
Wait, what card is this?
That's pretty cool.
This is the add remove restriction card.
Ooh.
These are the ones that you get like every turn.
Yeah. So each faction, now keep in mind each faction
Oh,
has
gotcha,
4
gotcha,
units
gotcha.
on it.
Yep.
So one team on that unit basically gets to use this card. Or one team on the faction, sorry.
Gotcha. My bad. I thought you were talking about the uprising card, and I was like, you get to use that every fucking turn?
No, that's
What?
way too good.
Holy shit, that's good.
Uprising's OP.
Okay,
So-
sorry. Yeah, my bad.
So we go around a circle. Any teams who wish to play that on their attack can do so. Then
Sorry,
we go
Scream.
around in a second circle
Jesus.
of initiative where defending teams get to choose to do it. Now, you can use this card to counter someone using the card on you. So, okay, you add PPCs to the game, I can take them off. Now, so that may not sound like that much
As
fun.
long
where
as
you
the
can just
cards
counter it.
match.
As long as the cards match, yeah. So, if you were to do this and block it, you are welcome to block it, but then you don't get to use the card offensively with one of your teams. Also, you can only block 1 per turn, essentially, so if 2 teams play it on you, you're kind of hooped. You gotta pick one or just use yours offensively. Now, you could potentially save these cards up over time, use them all in one bunch, but once again, you'd be sort of depriving yourself of the benefit at that time, so it should work out fairly in the end. So now, that's arguably the least powerful card. The other big cards, and so these cards, they all 1 use only throughout the entire campaign. The campaign's 6 turns, it's going to run for like 3 months, so you want to use these cards at the right time.
Yeah. Quick story for you all, just so you know. Rex and I sat down and built these cards plastered as hell one night, like 3 weeks back. He's like, I want to make cards like Risk. And I'm like, okay, what kind of cards would you want? And he's like, I was thinking like this. And I'm like, okay. And so like we pulled up like a Google Doc and we started writing them out as best we could and went back. Oh my god, the typing and the sentence structure was terrible.
I
Hey,
play.
it's
First
progress.
draft. It's understandable. It was a first draft.
Yeah.
It was a rough draft. They taught us about that in high school.
Did you make an outline first?
Oh yeah, gotta have an outline, bro.
Oh yeah.
God damn it! I'd like to
I
point.
guess
I'd
I'd write
like
down some.
everyone to look at Siri's camera really quick and see the hatred in his eyes. He's like, "We're not talking about gameplay or strategy. What am I doing
You
here?"
fucking scrubs.
Don't worry, we're getting to that.
Raffle, before totally off topic, what was it that Panic said the other night when he accidentally landed on the cataphract?
Oh shit! Oh, it was so good. Okay, keep talking. I'll remember.
We'll think of it. Okay. Okay, so big cards. One of the influences for some of these cards is actually what's the game called? Twilight Imperium. If anyone hasn't played it, it is arguably one of the best strategy board games of all time ever. Totally worth picking that up. Anyway, some of the ideas were taken from this. So, the first card, we have the Uprising card. You can play it at the beginning of the initiative phase. You pick one enemy planet, and it reverts to neutral. So you can use this offensively. You can take out people's planets, make them neutral, then try and attack them and steal them from them. You can use it defensively, because you do it before the attacks are declared. You could go, oh, hey, these guys are trying to push through on this front. Their front line is now having an uprising. And suddenly they're essentially pushed back a turn, because they now have to deal with that uprising. The second card is called the Flank Attack card. In Marik Civil War, how attacking works is you can attack any planet that is touching one of your planets through those jump lanes. The Flank Attack card lets you jump twice, essentially. So this will let you pierce through someone's defenses and hit their capital, past their lines, or let you push up and then follow the attack up and have like a double push into someone's territory, things like that. And then it can also be used perhaps defensively, where you can hit someone in the back and cause, an occupation zone in the back of their lines that they have to deal with before they can push on into you. Third card is
very
the
strategic.
Wait a second. So you can attack a home planet second turn.
Sorry, thank you for that. The Flank Attack card does have a restriction on it that you cannot play it in the first 2 turns. We want to.
You should put that somewhere on it.
It is actually on a different. I will update this real quick.
Yay,
It should
Versi.
actually be up there.
Just saying. Just saying.
Just saying. Yeah. So we want to maintain that you can't hit a capital till turn 3.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay, just making
with the
sure.
Flank Attack. The third
Don't
card
fix
is
it now.
the
You're doing stuff.
Diplomacy card. Diplomacy is you can pick one non-capital planet that you control, and then pick one enemy faction, and that faction cannot attack the planet. So you would use that to hold off a enemy who's pushing into your lines, or say there's a planet that you do not want someone to take, and you know they're going to be coming for it. You can sort of hold the line with words rather than bullets for once.
Rex, sorry to interrupt you, but just an idea, because you and I have talked about these a lot. Couldn't you just add the disclaimer on that jump card cannot be a capital planet? Boom, done, problem solved.
I actually want it to be able to be used on capital planets. We just don't want it in that first 2 turns.
Gotta wait, turn 3, got it.
Yeah. Well, arguably, other than Atreus and the capitals, there aren't any super important planets that you need to take faster rather than later. So,
well, I just know that like a strategy we used in season 2 was hitting multiple planets around the capital, so that even if we lost one, we still had a hit to the capital the next turn.
oh, that's a very good point. Yeah.
So, I
Keeps
mean,
those
like,
happening,
you
so-
could get to the planet where you're about to get the capital, and then you use a jump card to hit the planet behind the capital. That way, if they took the one next to the capital, you could still hit them from the other side. I don't know. Just a quick idea on the war room.
Yeah. So
That
the
is what
Quick
this is
change
about.
in rules right here on the war room.
It happens. It's happened before, it'll happen again. So the fourth card is the Underdog card. Now this one could be very interesting.
And a cool card.
It may annoy people, but at the same time it totally goes with the whole concept for Marik that we want to force teams to interact and play with each other. And that goes with the whole point. In Marik you have factions, and so you're expected that all the different faction leaders are supposed to get together and plan out their turn, have a strategy. Have
I made
contingency
this one.
plans. So the coalition the coalition card takes this a step further. So you would play this card before the turn starts, your faction would get an extra attack for that turn. How Marik works is each individual unit gets 1 attack. This gives your faction an extra attack. This attack is made up of a coalition where you have to have 4 pilots from 3 different teams in your faction. At the time of the writing, this card, we only had the 3 tiers. We're adding in a 4th, so this card will change slightly. But the point being, at the time, Tier 1, 2, 3, you would take 4 players from Tier 1. So let's say you take 4 Steel Jags, then you'd take 4 guys from QQ, then you would take 4 guys from Blazing Aces, or not Blazing Aces, regular Aces. They were Tier 3. And then you would have them all form a team and play against someone else's Tier 2 team. And so hopefully, you know, if teams aren't too fond of trying to set this up, because it's a little annoying to have to schedule that. It's not the easiest, I admit. Well, you only have to do it once over a 4-month campaign, so that's a bonus. And 2, you know, hopefully it does build that rapport you have with your teammates, where you're going to have, you know, a bunch of players from different teams playing with each other. You might even get a practice or 2 in, make it legitimate, and hopefully build some new relationships that way. Plus, you get a bonus attack that can take some planets. Oh, that was number 5. Okay, well, that's the coalition card. The underdog card. My bad. Yeah, that was the coalition card. Yeah, the underdog card. In Marik Civil War, we have a system in place where a lower tier team can fight a higher tier team. So you'll have things like the Remnant would play against Blackstone Knights, you know, a tier 1 versus a tier 2 team. And the Remnant would get a few bonus points for doing so, but obviously, you know, in the interest of your own personal score, you want to, you know, perhaps play games that you're more likely to win to score the points. What the underdog card does is a lower tier, or you play the card once you have a lower tier team fighting a higher tier team. You play the card, the underdogs get to add or remove a restriction, but it only applies to 1 team. So you could have a scenario where, say, Clan Jade Falcon versus Steel Jaguar. Clan Jade Falcon plays underdog card, they add the no PPC restriction for Steel Jaguar, but they get to play with PPCs. So, usually we're not in favor of unbalancing things, but in this situation where we can guarantee that it's, you know, a very top tier team versus perhaps a less skilled team, adding or removing this restriction can be really interesting. You know, suddenly one team has jump jets or PPCs, whereas the other team doesn't, so that could be interesting. And then the very last card is the Joker card. You play this card, you roll a d5, and you randomly get one of the other cards. So you could randomly get any of the previous 5 and get to play it a second time.
I'm sorry, did you just say you roll a d5?
Yeah. We use an online die roll where physics don't matter.
That's just a random fucking number, dude. That's not a dice. That's not a, like, no, what?
I know, but I have these right here, so...
It is a dice, because they make dice in all shapes and sizes and kinds.
There's no
Sure.
object that has only 5 sides.
Sure. Sure there is. There's one with 3 sides, why can't there be one with 5 sides?
There's
There's
a 4 side.
Online, everything works.
Oh my god. Random number generators are not dice.
best derail ever.
You don't know.
So in order, you just said the coalition, which is the 3 teams, the underdog, and then the Joker, which is any random card, right?
Yes. There's diplomacy, flank attack, and uprising as well. So there's 6 cards. The 6th one lets you get one of the first 5 randomly.
Okay, for what it's worth, I just googled 5-sided die just to make sure that I wasn't insane, and the only thing is like a theoretical physics drawing of how one could possibly be constructed using like an extra dimension. So get fucked.
Using an extra dimension.
Look.
Quick,
Okay,
put
well-
panic button on it.
For anyone who hasn't played in the Marik Civil War, we use an online die roller called Roll-Z. And yes, a d5 is possible over the internets.
RND 1 through 5. There you go.
Okay, maybe I'll stop calling it a d5. Would that make you happy, Rolf?
That would. Or you could add a 6th card.
RNG-5? Is that better?
Yes. Thank you.
RNG 0 through 4.
Depends on
Fuck with them.
depends on what you're. Well, yeah, there you go. Depends
Zero's
on
a
what
real number.
language you're using.
Okay, so hey, that's it for the Merrick Civil War. That's all of the big changes we got. There's one thing I'm forgetting.
What was the big announcement?
And the big announcement. Okay, so we have a new restriction we're going to throw in here.
Okay,
We're
is this the
testing
no
this.
air,
You
no
should
arty
really-
restriction? The
you
one
should
that
actually,
we...
that was
really
the thing.
tell me about this stuff.
That's the thing I was forgetting, actually.
Okay.
No air, no arty. The idea we've got currently is that we're going to randomly seed the planets, like we did with the restrictions. 1/3 of the planets are going to allow air and arty. The other 2/3 of the planets are not going to allow air and arty.
Do you plan
Then-
to amend that should they balance air and arty?
Now, that is exactly it. In the fine print is this, or we reserve the right to, at the easiest possible time, the second PGI makes a change, we're going to reevaluate that change. If they don't turn the art, who knows? Maybe they can make it 50 damage and turn down the cooldown timer. Well, we might not going to change the rule for that, but if they fix it, yeah, we're definitely going to reevaluate it and then redistribute it if it warrants it. But right now, it's a little silly. I don't want to take it away entirely. We were toying with saying some planets you can use airstrikes, other planets you can only use arty strikes. But then how do we police that? It gets, kind of
Yeah,
awkward, right?
it's-
So at the end of the day, we decided 2/3, 1/3. Factions get to pick what their capital planets have for restrictions, so you get to choose there, and then Atreus will be no strikes because it's super restrictive on that planet.
At the point at which I had decided, at the point at which you had said, okay, some will do air, some only arty, whatever, I would require that every team stream every match. It would.
Yeah, exactly right.
You should
And
require every team to stream every match anyway, so I have content to cast.
Because
No,
you
I'm just
have to
kidding.
make sure that their CFGs have not been edited or their suite effects and oh fuck me.
Yeah.
It's-
So now, totally stealing something
Not-
from Harry,
not saying
Steeljag EU's leader, and his MRBC league. We're gonna add in. There's a few bonus
this the
points
big
you can
surprise?
score. No, this is not the big surprise.
God
This
damn
is
it,
another.
Tony.
Gah.
We have bonus points we assign for
You
certain
tease.
things. I'm a teaser, I know. So, bonus points teams can score. We're going to add in a new bonus point category. We're going to give you guys 5 bonus points. This still needs to be ratified. We need to still fully talk about this, but this is the idea. We're going to give you 5 bonus points if you post a recording of your game, of all the games in the series, on the Marik site. Now, it doesn't have to include audio. Obviously, that makes it a little bit personal. Not everyone is on their best behavior while being streamed. I might know.
What?
No.
So-
Who knows? Your voice might sound like a little girl.
Who knows?
No.
You don't know that.
So the point is, we're actually going to get a, assuming teams are okay with this, and obviously they can choose not to do this. The bonus points aren't that significant anyways. But the point being that teams are going to be encouraged to post streams of all of their games online, and we can also shift that over to Mercstar, and we're going to hopefully start getting a database of all the League games out there. Because that'd be pretty cool if you go, hey,
Neat idea.
I'm toying with joining Team Ramrod. I don't know a lot about them, but hey, I go on this website, I can see, hey, their last 12 competitive series and watch all their games. And right from there, you can often get a good idea of whether or not you might enjoy yourself at that.
Tony, don't forget, Team Color Index on Mercstar. Make that shit happen.
Ooh, it's nothing we're toying with. Team Color Index.
No toying with. Make it happen.
Make it happen.
God, you guys are all so fucking wishy-washy. It's like, well, maybe we should do this. It's like, no, just do it.
Canadians.
Do it.
It's the
Yeah.
fucking
Team
Canadians.
versus
Team Canadian.
Team
Versus
Canadian wishy-washy.
U.S.
They'll apologize.
Sorry,
for being
I'm wishy-washy.
too. They'll say sorry.
We
I'm
apologize to
wishy-washy.
you Americans all the time.
Hey, mate, sorry,
It's
I'm
an
wishy-washy.
actual-
Oh, no, that's not Canadian.
Sorry, I'm Porter of North America.
Okay, so the secret announcement hasn't even been released. Figured we'd give this one a war room.
Yeah, hurry the fuck up. We really want to know what it is.
Yeah, I
Only
thought it
you,
was like
Ruffle.
3 things already.
No.
Stop playing with our balls and just go
Shut
for
up
it.
and let me finish it. Jeez.
You're the kind of person that doesn't give a reach around.
The secret is Rex is coming out of the closet.
But only if I get a reach around from all 5 of you.
I'm sorry.
I'll give you a reach around if you show me your chinchilla.
Better to give. Oh,
Do you actually have a chinchilla?
I have had 8 in my life. They kept making babies. Of
Do you have one now?
course.
Oh,
he even has a
motherfucker.
motorcycle
Why don't you
helmet
have-
for it.
Dude, you need to
Why
get a
don't you have
webcam.
video?
You need to
I
get a
will.
webcam.
Oh,
God.
Anyway,
Oh,
secret
God.
announcement. Now we're delaying
Secret
it.
announcement. Jesus Christ, half an hour later. Okay, so we're adding in a new restriction to the game. It's on a trial basis. This one is a little crazy. So we want to, we're thinking 1 planet per faction, and then maybe 1 random in the middle. We're gonna do no ACs. So no AC2, no AC5, no Ultra AC5, no AC10, no AC20.
No gauze.
But you can have machine
No,
guns.
including you can have machine guns, you can have Gauss.
Oh.
Now, assuming people won't kill me for going out of the narrative, we're gonna allow LBX because I, in my right mind, cannot remove that gun. It's far too cool.
The boom.
It's the best. It's
It is
all
the best,
meta.
right? I can't.
It is
restrict you guys
all
from-
meta.
Yeah.
It's the best when you shoot it at 800 meters and 1 pellet hits.
So this one's
You're
gonna
like,
get interesting.
yeah, LBX sniper. Woo!
The new meta, man. Called it like 3 months ago.
Triple LBX mermets.
Sniper.
Dude, we've done 12 mans of that. That's
800 out.
exciting.
Hey, triple Gauss, Ilya.
Whoa,
whoa,
whoa.
whoa.
I was
Yeah,
expecting that to be something hardcore as fuck, like everybody's capital has to be, you know, attacked with only 8 pilots. And I was gonna be like, oh shit! But I'm like,
That'd be
okay, there's no
interesting, but
ACs.
unbalanced. So, now, depending on the planet it gets thrown on, it's going to be interesting because you can have these stack with other restrictions.
Put it on Atreus. Just put it on Atreus.
We're toying with that one. Atreus has every restriction on it.
That's the point.
we add in
Do you
no
realize you
ACs?
could only use SRMs, just regular SRMs, and
lasers
lasers?
and shotguns. It could be awesome.
Please do that.
And
No.
machine guns.
That's a brawl.
Nobody
Toying
would.
with it for Atreus,
Nobody
but,
would fucking want to take Atreus. They'd be like, oh,
Take it for
S-
free.
SJR's already got it.
Because nobody would attack it.
SJR's already got Atreus. Fuck playing on that map.
You'd just be denying yourself the glory of LBX.
Tons and tons of LBX and large lasers everywhere.
Mermaids pay to win.
So the point being, we understand this is a big change. It actually does really shift the meta. You know, Marik's already the proud owner of shifting the meta, but yeah, no ACs really does change it. I mean, there's some, and we couldn't add no Gauss because what do you do with all the mechs with an AC slot then? I guess
Machine
gun.
guns,
Not
motherfucker.
bring them.
Double machine gun on my
Yeah,
house.
dude.
New
Ye-
meta.
Oh my, no, Tony, you can't do any ACs at all. You can't do Gauss, only machine guns, no,
No,
LBXs.
stop it, Raffle.
There'd be
Raffle.
so many
Really
awesomes.
Raffle.
There'd be so many awesomes.
Raffle.
Guys, there'd
Shut
be
up.
so many awesomes.
Shut up.
PPC
Shut up.
Jaegers.
Ah,
6
stop
machine
it.
guns.
Ah.
I'm gonna kill you.
So I've been going on long enough about Marik. That's it. Well, I just want to reiterate, fucking 22 plus teams.
Yeah,
That's
I am
double.
Yeah.
super excited about this.
So
and-
last chance. Anyone who wants in, anyone watching the show, deadline is, or the meeting is Sunday. So you better sign up long before then, as if you can.
I
Point is,
will.
we're
Tony, do you want me to
starting
sit
this
in
all
on that
Sunday.
and do a recording of it for you? And then I can post it. And
Yeah, we can do that too.
all right, killer. Oh, balls, dropping frames
Oh,
left
balls.
and right.
Yeah, you know, as the game's gonna progress too. This is PGI's first major deadline that I think they're gonna hit really well, the UI 2.0 launch, and if everything else goes smoothly going till April, which, you know, fingers crossed, you're probably gonna see a lot more people playing this game, especially with private lobbies. It's a major feature, and it'll probably
Definitely.
diversify the league a lot. And
Well,
it's-
actually-
that's really good for, you know, a league with the rule set like Marik Civil War.
So
Yeah.
two things. One, not if, but when we get private lobbies, that competitive scene will change. Suddenly, you go from having a shitty day of league play, spending 3 hours not finishing your games, to there is zero reason you can't complete a 5-game series in an hour and a half. I mean, let's call it an hour 45.
Oh,
Right?
God.
Yeah, you're already gonna
Oh, that
have
sounds like
your drop deck set out for each map because that's huge right
You
there.
will
All
have
of
to add
sudden-
a map selection element to it. Though.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's
Oh,
'cause
well,
that's what
Not for Marik though, because each planet will be a different map.
Yeah, exactly. For Marik, we'll make each planet... Once we can choose the map, yeah, each planet will be a different map.
That's
Okay.
going to be huge.
I do
Just-
want to get to patch notes and the narc change, just super quick. We've already been going for like an hour. And
Wait. I just got to point out, Heim said UI 2.0 and meeting deadline in the same sentence.
I know, right? Whoa, whoa.
Hey, man.
Wait,
Whoa,
say
don't.
PGI and you've got the trifecta.
Oh, jeez.
Oh God, Raffles
don't.
channel's going to hell. Gotta make a new one with new moderators. No.
I never knew Hungry Light was a white knight.
No one knew.
Oh God damn it! Get fucked, everyone.
How rude.
No,
Alright, next
thank
topic.
you.
Next topic.
No, I'm kidding. I love you guys, but I just get sick of all that like, how dare you defend a game? You obviously are a white knight, etc., kind of thing.
Well, I mean, they deserve a lot of the criticism that they've caught. There's no doubt about that. But you know, if they're actually going to start hitting deadlines and responding to the community in a good fashion, you got to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, I mean, last 2
yeah.
months
They've
or
improved,
last
right?
month has been pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
mean, they took some of that shit to heart. You got to
Yeah.
assume, because their attitude has changed, right? In a positive way.
I mean, it's not even that. It's just like they've always, I think they've always cared about the game. It's just now that they're realizing that okay, we get it that not all of you can just trust us, so we're trying to do better. But anyways,
if
No,
they
no,
hit
we're-
the deadlines up until June, like you'll see a big influx of people and people coming back.
Yeah.
I
dude,
think
there
there's
will
back
still
on
be
topic.
Yeah.
there will still be like 100. I'm just gonna say this: there will still be the same 100 people that's like everything is broken. I know how to fix everything. Blah 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 blah. That's the last we're gonna
Well,
say
that
on
won't
it.
change.
Don't
Never.
argue
No,
with me
that
for
won't.
doing it.
So you said June. The clan mechs are, I think, because that's it's something they're selling. I think the clan mechs are definitely coming out.
They've never missed a date for something they've sold.
Yeah, that's.
Like they're good about
on
things
top.
that people
Yeah,
pay money
anytime
for.
they pay money, they never miss the deadline.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, see, this is the thing. UI 2.0 is going to make them more money, though. It's not a direct sale, but it makes a lot of
Yeah.
things easier for
Mhm.
anyone who plays the game.
All I have to say, Star Citizen, 37 million, missed 3 deadlines.
Oh,
Dude, my face exploded when Versi told me that tonight. Like I was just like,
Well, I think what is the closed alpha starting in April too? So
move him back in.
wait, who got?
we don't have the code.
Did somebody get kicked out?
Yeah, Versi got
But
pulled out.
Oh. You missed the joke, apparently.
Oh God, I don't have
Oh.
I don't have sound because my first episode, everybody fucking pinged me like 100 times. Be like, turn off your sound pack in TS. Turn off your sound pack in TS. And so now I don't have my sound on, so I can never tell if people are moved out of the channel. Okay.
Yeah, someone just fucking moved my ass.
It's probably Queen. Patch notes. Cockpit glass. I was pretty happy about that.
And
It's
it
different.
looks good. I don't actually think it hinders gameplay. It hasn't for me, at least. It's like that. It's like that outer vision. You're focusing on stuff outside the glass. It's
Mhm.
like this fog. It just rolls back and forth. You don't even really see it when you're aiming down a long firing lane. So it's tough.
The only place I noticed it being like really terrible was Forest Colony. Excuse me, Forest Colony in the tunnel. You
in the
cannot
tunnel,
see
yeah.
a goddamn
Well,
thing.
And it's actually weird. Some maps, like you play HPG Manifold, you don't even notice. Like there's a little bit in the corners if you look closely.
Mhm.
But then you play like Canyon Network, and it is very visible to
If
the
you
point
go-
where it's kind of annoying. To be
It's because
honest.
it's dusty in Canyon.
And that makes sense, but I'd love it to get worse the more you jump jet. That'd be cute.
That would be.
They
cool.
so
Well, that's-
one of the
they're gonna
things they
make it
mentioned.
more.
Hold on, where is it? It's added glass to the cockpit will not crack or break. I feel like they wouldn't add that if it wasn't going to at some point.
If they did that and then maybe added a rain effect and some of their others and snow effect and some of those things, that's way down the line. But if they did that, it'd make it pretty cool.
Mhm.
You mean
I
then
have
they
to
can
admit.
remove their grain to all the things?
Yeah,
also think
post-processing
it's-
to off just doesn't do it justice.
Oh, and hey, for the record, the .cfg hacks we're all talking about recently don't take away the glass problems.
No, they
don't.
I think I do kind of wish sometimes that I could turn it off, because I don't really like. I know some people appreciate the immersion, but at best it does nothing, and at worst it's annoying.
Yeah.
Well, so
from
the
a
thing is
purely
though,
competitive
it's
point of view, it's kind of detracts from the game a little bit. I get what they're doing. I like that they're trying it. It's just on some maps, you're like, this is fucking annoying.
Yeah,
well, so that's the thing though,
it's
is
some small tweaks.
the
That's about
possibility is that if it works well enough, you could be luring people into situations where they're like looking at the sun, so that their cockpit glass is fucking sparkly as all hell, and you can get the better engagement on them.
Or the rain falls at different angles depending upon the wind.
Well, I'm just saying, like there are possibilities for it.
That's tough. Like
Somebody move
I'm-
Versi back out. No, I'm kidding.
these are great ideas.
Siri did it last time.
These are great ideas and stuff, but I'm hoping after the SRM change, because we've got to talk about that every single
That's
time.
a good point. We're
If
due.
you make it after the SRM change, yeah, okay. Then
God
we
damn
can
it,
think
guys.
about it.
No, let's not talk about SRMs. Other
Okay,
than
well,
that,
here, just minor segue. Check your chat there. Put that link up on the screen for people to see.
is it something about Mercstar?
No, it was from
Chat.
Queenblade, and I think "get fucked" was the message attached to it. I'm not sure.
Oh no, I posted that in
Also,
Yeah.
public
Yeah.
service announcement in case you guys haven't noticed. Do not edit your field of view or your .cfg as of this patch, because it forces you into default settings for field of view. Currently, I am forced to play default. I cannot be at any
was wondering
altered
about
field
that.
of view.
Yeah,
so you can't pull back that.
So what-
that
what-
extra
Yeah,
2
so
inches
I'm
What's
or 3
forced.
inches.
My face is forced against the cockpit glass, and actually, I didn't think cockpit glass was an issue until I am forced to see a field of green on my screen.
Wait, you play?
nostalgia.
You don't play with default settings?
No,
No,
not at all, bro.
I wasn't playing
That's-
with default settings.
I went from I tried to go from 80 to 85 after the patch, and it smashed my face against the glass.
So what is the solution then?
I don't know. I
So what,
didn't. I don't know if PGI stopped that ability to edit it or what.
I
But
think
all
there
of a
was-
sudden,
there
your
was going to
CFG
be-
forces you to default.
Once upon a time, correct me if I am wrong, but I remember them saying that there was going to be a field of view slider in UI 2.0.
they did say
Oh,
that somewhere.
Well, that's fine,
I
but they
can't
shouldn't
remember where.
introduce a fucking forced setting until UI 2.0 is released.
Technically, aren't you still not allowed to touch those files?
CFG,
Yeah.
you're allowed
Allowed
to
to.
touch.
Absolutely, are allowed to, according
Yeah.
to PGI.
But it hindered. I mean, it's something I learned from Counter Strike. I just didn't change the texture files because when stuff like that happens and changes in the game and you're forced to go to default, you might as well have practice on it already. It's just stock game settings.
Yep.
Stuff like post processing being up, you could do because it's in the settings. But anything in that user config file, it's up for them to change at their discretion. And you get stuff like this field of view issue.
Yeah, no,
it's
totally.
unfortunate.
I deserve the butt kicking, but for all those viewers out there, don't fuck with your CFG as of right now if you like what you got currently.
Hey,
But
really,
so what?
really
what
quick,
is that?
Versi, have you tried running the repair tool to see if you can fix that?
I have tried the repair tool.
Okay.
So you're saying once you fiddle with it, you can never get back to where you were before?
Correct.
Okay. So
The
if
moment
have
you
fiddled with it, you're
save that
screwed at this point.
CFG, you are fucked.
Because that makes sense. I was wondering why I bumped back to up against the window, and I've got my field of view set at 85, but it sure as hell is not at 85.
You see, Rex, that's the actual issue. Is I had it set at 80, and then I heard you talking about 85, and I'm like, oh, I should probably try, a couple hours at 85 and see what
Yeah.
I think. And
That's
then
my
I
sweet
edited
spot.
that bitch. I fucking ended up
Oh,
at
no.
60.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've got
it
mine
sucks.
pulled
Yeah,
back
it's
a little
terrible.
further.
Now, for the record, anyone who's listening to this and just discovered what a field of view does, if you increase your field of view, that's the equivalent of pulling the lever and shifting your car seat backwards. You can see more of the front of your cockpit, and it gives you that peripheral vision. It does drop your FPS because now your computer has to see more and deal with more. So if you're running on a piece of wood computer, don't fiddle with that ever. Well,
Deadfire's not a
if Versus
computer.
right,
Be
don't fiddle
nice.
with it now.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Tony,
Don't,
Dead-
don't have anything above 100 because then it just stretches out the view to just retardedness. Yeah, it was
Most
awful.
people like 80 or 85 though. Those are the two sweet spots.
Now, to be fair, and this is going to be one of those public service announcements from Mercstar, keep in mind that if you
Oh,
do
guys,
have...
hold on, Mercstar. I have to link it 1,000 times.
Yeah, Mercstar public service announcement, link it that shit.
Jesus.
If you keep it at default settings and you don't up your field of view, so if you don't go to like 80 or 85 or anything like that, that means that basically you kind of have a quote-unquote... I don't even know what to call it, a automatic zoom, default zoom comparative, because I mean naturally if you're leaning into your computer screen you see shit closer than if you lean back in your computer chair. So one thing I have noticed, because last night I was playing with Siri and you know in Aura, is I was able to see where I was shooting with my lasers better at the default zoom than pulling back.
Yeah.
However, I cannot see out of my left window or my right window at any given point in time, which could limit you from eating an AC-20 that you didn't see coming.
Not if
Or
you just
running
use.
into a wall.
Not if you
with
just
your
fucking
light.
use control to like sweep your sides every couple seconds.
Oh yeah,
Control
I press
isn't-
control all the time to move.
Yeah,
around.
I totally use control. No.
I'm in my Jenner going 150. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna use
Let me
control.
look
Oh, look, there's
left.
a building over there.
I removed that from my hotkeys. Controls.
Seriously?
guts.
It allows you to independently control your arms, which means you can torso twist and then look completely away from somebody and shoot them in the fucking head. It's one of the greatest features in the game.
Jenners don't have the ability to shoot lasers left and right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
But
it's only up and down.
actually,
And we
that
can
is a
do
good
that
point,
just
though,
fine with
Ruffle.
no arm lock.
I know.
It's good for mechs that have the arm actuator that allows you to aim left and right. However, if you are in a mech where it only goes up and down, i.e. what I trained on the Yenlo Wang and then Jenners, you don't need it. Pro Strat
Bam,
2014.
bam. But you don't need arm lock. Arm lock sucks unless you're sniping.
I just have it
Yeah.
on a key that I tap in case I want all of my weapons to hit exactly the same spot.
You tap keys often.
Yes, I do. I don't think anybody can actually have sex with keys, so that's not a very good joke. Anybody?
Challenge has
Ver-
been
Versi
declared.
just fucking gets up and leaves. What the fuck is this shit? God damn it, guys.
He's going to have sex with keys.
It's like, hold on, I gotta try this. I'll be right back.
Notice you guys were talking about the FPS drop when you turn your field of view back, but then back to the cockpit glass. I didn't notice any FPS changes with the
Me
That's
either.
a good
cockpit
point.
glass. And you know they're going to be introducing. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're going to have the night vision like on the cockpit glass, as well as the heat vision, rather than your whole view inside the cockpit changes to those types of vision.
Now I've
Ooh.
heard that. I've
That would
heard
be
that,
cool.
but I've
I don't
never
know where
seen
the
it in
confirmation
writing.
is. Yeah, neither. That's why I was bringing it up. I've never heard it anywhere else.
Yeah,
If they would do that, that would be awesome.
that would be
Like-
so cool. But I've
Do you
never
think that
seen it
would
in
be
writing.
Graphically intensive for your computer, having
That-
one pane
yeah.
of glass in a vision mode and the rest not.
Well, they did figure out how to get advanced zoom working because they said the picture-in-picture was the biggest hurdle that they were trying to get around, and they eventually got it to a point where it was a high enough quality it didn't really affect.
What that wouldn't even have to be
Zoom.
picture in picture though. You could just change the
Right.
filter on the glass. Like you could just have the glass take
Oh,
on
maybe.
different
Yeah.
properties
It's just a
as you click
two-layer,
it.
yeah. So I mean, maybe in the future, even like he was saying, you could have maybe like the rain on Forest Colony or stuff like that hitting your cockpit as you're running along, and that
I would-
might
I
get
would
annoying.
love-
The little raindrops like all over the cockpit.
Yeah, I would love to
Distorting your
see that
vision.
kind of stuff.
In before
like,
mech
that
windshield
would be That
So-
would be like wicked.
MC
Here-
module
here-
only.
Here's a little buff I see from that. If that comes out in that scenario where one pane of glass is the vision mode and the rest is normal. So I had this happen in a game today. I'm running around in night vision mode and I hear one of my teammates call, "Hey, you got an arty on you." And I flip off my vision mode and suddenly I can see the arty directly in front of my feet. And then I take it in the face. Well, if it's only on one pane of glass, you'll be able to see the smoke on your peripheral vision, and it won't be blocked out by the vision mode.
My assumption
necessarily.
was that all of the
It was
panes
all
in your
panes,
cockpit.
yeah.
Oh,
It's just not the
okay,
it's
that
just
makes
not
more
the
sense.
inside of your cockpit.
It would be really
Oh, okay.
cool. I don't remember where I saw that or if it's real, but that would be cool.
Yeah.
And if anybody watches this, feature suggestion for after Clan Mechs are released and you've balanced Clan Tech. Does anybody actually want to say anything about the NARC?
Yeah, I was saying earlier before we were in the show, some people had a misunderstanding of how NARC worked. And I was talking with Kinetic X, and I'm not sure if maybe this was just me, but I didn't really know how NARC worked because I barely used it.
Yeah, I can't.
All it,
I can't remember the
all
last
it-
time I used a NARC.
all it does is tighten the cluster of missiles, increase lock-on time. But if you don't have line of sight, so even with these NARC changes, which are, what are they exactly?
NARC, so blah blah blah. First off, NARC will no longer be disabled, knocked off through damage. So this means it lasts a full 20 seconds provided you hit a target. NARC maximum range is 300 meters. It will last its full duration. Secondly, NARC will receive the EMP effect on ECM.
Yeah, so
Well, and
you're
that's
still
after
gonna
the fourth.
need. Yeah, they said
Right.
after the fourth sometime, and you're still going to need line of sight to have a lock on that mech, though. And that's the biggest thing because a lot of people came out and said LRMs and NARC are going to be OP, and it's like I mean, if you're behind cover, LRMs really aren't overpowered in the first place if you're smart enough to stay behind cover. So you also need line of sight. I don't see NARC becoming an overpowered, use of a missile slot.
It still
in the
doesn't.
future, even with the changes.
It still doesn't seem useful to me. If it was used without line of sight, holy fuck, it would have a use. But other than that,
Well, like
Well,
I was
there was-
saying. Oh, go ahead, Siri, because you don't talk a lot, and I do.
Siri talks
a lot.
plenty.
What have
This
you
is
been
just
talking?
this is just not his episode. He's like, well, there's some leagues going on. Guess I'm gonna play in those.
Well, there was actually about, I think, month and a half back, a discussion on Reddit about NARC. And somebody was asking, well, how does it work? Is it any good? And I had to go on and shit on his hopes and dreams and tell him, no, it's fucking terrible. And so
Where
I
is
just
that
ripped into
post?
it
Because you made the exact change that they want to make.
it was the reason why it wasn't used was because one, you had to get so close, you had to hit them with a slow-moving projectile,
The
risking
slowest.
the slowest projectile,
You could, like,
risking
watch it
yourself in
coming
the
out.
process. And then if you did hit them, it fell off with 35 points of damage from any source, even your own lasers. So imagine this, you're Jenner K with a NARC and 4 medium lasers. You NARC the guy, you shoot him with your lasers twice. The NARC's gone. Your LERMs didn't get any benefit. Or your buddy in a Highlander shoots him. And
Well,
your
and
NARC falls off.
Didn't this come
So-
out when we still had PPC spamming? So the
Yes.
average PPC was a 40 damage alpha. So
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, it was kind of pointless.
Yes. So all of that led to NARC being utterly useless and a worse tonnage investment than the command console.
Yeah, and I'd
So-
imagine. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
So, given that, the two solutions that I was proposing was either A, remove the HP on it, so it just lasts the full duration, but still requires line of sight, or B, allow it to give an indirect lock, so that you don't have to be holding it, so it functions like a UAV, and then buff its HP up to about, 70 to 80-ish. And at that point, that has a purpose. Countering ECM is just the sort of logical extension of making it useful. The question I have is, if you hit somebody, not the ECM generator, i.e., say you hit a Highlander with the NARC, and he's in the ECM bubble of, say, an Atlas, can you still lock him from outside the ECM bubble?
I'm sure you still
I
can.
don't. Yeah, I think it
I
would
think that's
override the
assumed.
ECM.
Not only
I mean,
so
I would hope so.
it blocks all ECM effects. It's like shooting something with a PPC.
No, though, if you shoot, if you have like a Highlander standing next to the Atlas, you have to shoot the Atlas to turn the ECM off. You
Yes.
cannot shoot the Highlander and get a lock.
Correct.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. Would the narc, with a Highlander standing next to an Atlas, if you narc the Highlander, would you be able to shoot it?
I don't think so. No.
I don't
In
think
that
so either.
case, that
I
might-
think the real question is if Narc becomes useful, will Lerms become useful?
Right. So, you don't think so, but I think it should, because if you look at tag, if you were to tag, again, the Highlander standing next to an
Well,
Atlas.
that's a good point. Yeah.
So,
I think it'll cut through all ECM. I mean, if it works just like Narc probably should, it should work through ECM. Yeah.
The 35 points of damage you're talking about, Siri, like, I just thought about that. Like, if you have an LRM boat and you're using a narc for an LRM boat and you get a full salvo off on a mech, like, your narc's gone in one salvo.
right, like it's 2 LRM 20s, and that's why I said like 70 or 80 health, because that would be like 2
Right.
not so big alphas.
Mm-hmm.
I can only think of a few things. Even with the narc change they've got now, at least it becomes something that's not a total waste. But like, if I can somehow fit it on my large laser Raven or a Jenner K or something, like all of a sudden now Jenner K has become okay. You know.
The thing is like
it's still a huge tonnage investment.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
still-
it's a gigantic tonnage.
it's still way worse than UAV for
Or tag.
or
It's hard to
tag.
argue with
But
free,
no.
though.
But it's still way worse than UAV, and you get UAV for no tonnage. Like,
Yeah.
it's a fucking no-brainer. I would still never take an arc. So I don't know.
But I mean,
Um,
like, if maybe like I see it being situationally useful if your light with the narc runs in, tags it, and then somebody else is actually holding the line of sight or something, like when you're pushing in. But it's
well, we do the
still
same
in general
thing.
purpose going to be outclassed by a 1-ton tag laser.
If you're playing around and you have like, you know, learn apocalypse, you still do the same thing with the tag. If you can be outside of the range of tag with narc and still be able to narc and keep some sort of line of sight, I mean that seems useful to make Lerms, you know, a little better.
Actually, second thought. It was the earlier bit, I didn't follow that thought through, where you hit an ECM carrier with the narc.
Mm-hmm. It knocks out the
disables
ECM.
or
for-
disable
It
it.
knocks out
Yeah.
the ECM.
Ooh.
So I guess you could narc, like, if they only have one Atlas, but then still 20 seconds, you'd have to be, like, constantly narc. If there's more than one ECM carrier, you'd have to constantly rotate your narcs around
Well, think
in
about
order to
in
disable the ECM.
So
But it's-
you ran into us the other night when we were running that streak build. So imagine lots of light packs only take like one spider or one raven with the light pack because they're just not as effective as Jenners, because Jenners are really fucking good. So you run into that, and obviously good players with streaks are going to mount BAP on every mech just to make sure. But if you're hedging your bet and like if you really know the enemy team and you feel like you can get away with it, you could run one mech with one narc and no BAP on any mech, and then to be able to target
Yeah.
with streaks, as long as there's only that one ECM light. Of course, that requires hitting, and I don't fucking know the projectile speed on a narc, or how well to
Slow.
lead a narc,
They say
or how
500.
hit reg is. So
It's slower than an
Yeah.
AC-20.
I
Jesus.
think
Yeah,
in
you
chat
think
someone said
AC-20s are
500
slow?
meters a
Practice with
second.
narcs.
well,
Can you
it's
imagine firing a narc and having it not register? How mad you would be?
oh,
Damn,
isn't it like how many shots is it per ton?
12.
Oh, they buffed it. It used to be 7 though.
I would.
Yeah, it used to be
Some-
terrible.
Dude, you should get fucking unlimited shots if you put a
Yeah.
3-ton
I know
narc.
ammo cost.
A
Yeah.
3-ton narc launcher, you should get
That's a good
unlimited
buff.
shots.
Yeah, I think on top of this, they're probably going to need to cut the weight down to 1 for the launcher itself, and then plus ammo.
Absolutely.
I would use it if
If-
it weighed a ton. If it was 2 tons total
Well,
for
I mean,
a ton of
10 is a
ammo
ton.
and
So
You look at the SRM. What does an SRM2 weigh? 1 ton.
1 ton.
So why is a
Yeah.
narc that shoots one projectile that's not tracking why does it weigh so much more?
Because the narc is a delicate flower, and it takes a lot of dedication
Actually,
to let it
no.
bloom
Lotus,
properly.
Tony.
lotus
It's a delicate flower.
Shut up. It's because it requires the tracking system to like send signal to and from the beacon, etc., etc.
You mean that radio antenna I have 2 of behind my head?
So 3 tons. So I have a small car on my shoulder that's shooting out.
Do we really want to do this? Because a cataphract
No, we
weighs the
don't.
same as an Abrams.
No, we don't.
No, no, we don't.
Exactly.
That's actually a really good point. I've had problems with that.
Yeah, exactly. We did talk
Rex
about it
has
though.
lost sleep
I
over
no,
that.
I googled the weight of an Abrams at some point, and I was like,
Mhm.
wait, what?
Same ton as a cataphract.
Did you know that your Atlas is as fat as Raffles' mom?
Oh! Well, at least my mom's not as wide as an awesome like yours. Oh! We could do this all day.
On to the other
That's why
things
they
of
called it
confidence,
a
maybe?
pretty baby.
Oh Jesus. Is there anything I'm missing in the last
Hitboxes.
week?
That last
Yeah,
like, 2
hitboxes.
minutes there, that's how you summed up the SWK trip down to Cincinnati. It was inappropriate MechWarrior jokes for like 4 days straight.
Basically, hitboxes were adjusted on the Jägermech, the Cataphract, the Blackjack, the Stalker, the Kintaro, and the Catapult. We all knew this was coming. It's just the same splitting the legs on the torso or on
The
the
diaper change.
crotch.
No, it's
Diaper
even more than
change.
that. Did you look at my changes?
What? What?
Ah, you're the worst. Let me grab them.
Did you send me something?
No, this was on Reddit.
Yeah.
Dude, Siri,
You
I've
only-
seen so many Reddit posts by you that are reposts from previous posts that are from previous posts about why are you guys not reading my posts that I just stopped reading.
Hold on.
You
I know
have
what you're
the-
talking about now, Siri.
Yeah, the
Well, like,
Stalker, Cataphract, Catapult, and Jaeger. in
Well, think about it, though,
series
like-
post.
Got it.
Most of Reddit now is how to fix the game, and Siri links the same damn article on like every forum.
It's like, well, 4 months ago I told you how to deal with this. Sorry.
Yeah, this is how you fix SRMs.
I try to be good about it and not be like, well, we recently talked about this on my show. Go watch my videos.
You mean like 4 shows?
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
Basically
so-
like once a month.
On topic though, the Stalker change, it got a little bigger in the CT. It seems to be slimmer down near the waist. That doesn't really matter. If you're shooting at it up top, you have a much greater odds of hitting the CT.
Mm-hmm.
The Cataphract arm is really, really big now, and
Yep.
that makes me sad on my cost build. Because I keep getting a chain reaction where my right arm gets blown up.
And then
so
it
my
blows
Gauss
up your
goes,
torso?
Which blows up my torso, which blows up my other Gauss, and I'm just sad.
Suicide is painless.
But
so,
it,
like, my Gauss build was bad enough before, but now it just makes me sad.
the best part is, though, is you get to see it coming. Because if you hear your Gauss rifle destroyed in your arm, you just get to cringe. And then you wait 3 seconds, and then it's like, Gauss rifle destroyed. And that's the one in your torso. And then you wait 3 more seconds, and then your XL pops.
The best part is when your right arm gets blown off, and you manage to get a kill shot with the torso one before the right one explodes.
Does that seriously happen?
Yes, I've managed
Oh,
to do
that's
that once.
great. Also, this is
but-
an adequate time for me to say it. Panic. The thing Panic said the other night, Versi, was, "Suffer my wrath, knaves."
Names.
As he was, we were in a game, and he's in a Highlander in this massive brawl, and he ends up stuck on top of an enemy cataphract, and he's just shouting at everybody on the team like he's the king. He's like, "Do not harm my mount! Suffer my wrath, knaves!"
As we're all streak mechs. The only time we've ever seen an oxide be used, we brought 3.
That was disgusting.
Anyway,
sorry, Siri.
Overall, Cataphract, noticeably, decently tankier.
Mhm.
It still has a very big CT, but the right and left torsos don't get blown off so much.
Yep.
In the rear, it used to be practically entirely rear CT, and now that's actually much slower.
I do
So,
like
better
that,
off.
actually.
So it used to be that when I was assassinating cataphracts in my Jenner, I would go for CT always, but now I've kind of started actually shooting the rear right torso because it's a reliable target now, and that'll often take all the weapons quicker. But the catapult, they said they shrunk the head by 20%. I don't
saw
think that's
several
correct.
headshots. I've seen so many.
I don't think that's correct because it's literally only the small trapezoid in the upper pane. I think they shrunk it to 20%, not by 20%. It's tiny. Go test it yourself. But I was shooting what I thought would be head, and it was hitting CT, and I was like, wait, what? And it took me. So there's a bit of change down in the pelvis. Quite a bit more of the pelvis is actually leg now, even beyond just like the quote-unquote thong change. But what you see highlighted, that little, I don't know what to call that, joint, maybe.
There you go. That works.
And actually, big one, the patch was wrong. It said the Jagermech's arm got smaller.
It's the torso that got
bigger.
smaller.
The torso got smaller.
Which I'm
Which
okay
is
with.
good.
Got
Good.
That's
twice
good.
as big.
Yeah, that's fine.
And
That's
that's
good.
I
yeah,
was
that
confused.
mech needed that.
It's
I
the
was
best you could do with
confused when
that.
I saw the patch notes because they actually said when they previewed these changes that the arm was getting bigger.
Yeah.
So the preview was correct, the patch notes are wrong. And if you pull that up, that's actually quite a bit bigger. It's not good enough to make the Jagermech not a glass cannon, because if you want to take off the side torso from the side, you still just shoot
Underneath,
just
yeah.
above the hip, and it's all side torso.
Also, that big flange is
That
still.
fin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that too. Well, the funny thing is, I've actually killed a couple of Jagermechs when they're behind cover by shooting
of that
their
fin.
antenna.
Fin, yeah.
Oh,
The
that's
antenna.
dirty. The hammerhead.
That is.
Yeah.
I shot the hammerhead from like 800 meters.
Dude, I get so excited when I see that hammerhead sticking out, and I'm like, and you're fucked.
That's mean. Poor Jaegermax.
All right.
Why do you have to kill us boom Jaegers?
There's
Should have brought
There were
a
two
so
more
boomerang.
many
changes.
reasons.
There were two more changes in this patch. The blackjack, that was just rear torsos being rearranged slightly. I haven't tested it, but I don't think it's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Kintaro, apparently its CT is 10% smaller. There are no Kintaros in the testing grounds, so I wasn't able to get a good method. I had Muon Neutrino actually. He said that the hitboxes in the mech lab, if where they light up and are highlighted, that's not what the hitboxes are. But if you click on the mech, it'll change which section you're on properly according to the hitbox. And he said he worked out that the hitboxes looked a little like that.
That's interesting, actually.
So they're significantly smaller.
Huh.
Well,
Interesting.
Not sure
Remember-
if the source material on this was from before the first change to the Kintaro. Because this would be the second hitbox adjustment to the Kintaro.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
After it came out, there was one that reduced the CT because it was even potentially bigger than
Yeah.
shown there.
CT syndrome.
Whenever they first came out, their CTs were gigantic, and they just got cored out every single time.
And
So-
actually, having fought them a little bit, I do think their side torsos are bigger. Because it used to be that I couldn't if one of their side torsos was open, I wouldn't even bother trying to take it off most of the time, just because it was so tiny. That I'd get better results just going through legs or CT. But now, if you can actually pick a side torso to shoot.
And it's kind of the side torso is kind of it's skinny where that arm hooks down too. It's got that weird model where the arm is straight across and the arms kind of hang down.
Yeah.
So on the Stalker, would you like you said the Cataphract was a little bit more tankier with that side torso increase? It kind of it makes it harder to tank with that Stalker because you kind of want to get hit in the arm before the side torso. Because if you get your side torso shot out, you're losing your tank ability with your arm first.
Yeah,
So-
I noticed having a little bit of it actually felt different in my misery after the patch.
Yeah, I haven't run it since the patch because I don't feel like I can use my arm as a tank efficiently anymore. So it makes it a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
I
didn't
don't know.
I didn't
I've
really
seen
notice a change when I played it after the patch. It was subtle, if anything. I wasn't really able to reliably use the arm as a shield in the first place, so
Yeah,
might
that's
just
what
be
I was
me.
gonna say. I know whenever I'm going after him in a Jenner, it's like side torso all day long. They don't. Um, the best thing I've ever seen an actual person use as far as torso twisting is very small torso twisting. You don't use your full torso twist.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I just stick with my rear.
I actually meant that like my
yeah, I've
CT
used
is
my-
more vulnerable. I see my CT getting hit more often.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
You almost have to like turn to get to shield with your arms on the stalker. You almost have to like show your back, which is kind of a risk. It's like a perfect angle, but like now it's
Yeah,
not
that's
even
what I meant.
possible. Period. You can't. I don't even think it's worth trying at this point.
Yeah, you
I
have to
don't
get
know.
them like 135 degrees
I-
basically behind you.
I wish that they would have done what they did, like what the stalker has with the cat. I wish they would have made the sides of the cat side torso, because it's still got
All the way
such a
up?
fucking huge CT. Yeah, I don't think the head
and
hitbox is
then
the
you could at
problem.
least use a standard engine on it.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. Did I miss anything in the patch? Did I miss any changes in the last week? I think we're good.
I think we may have got it all.
All right. Well, thank you
What?
guys for. I know, right? Can't believe it. Well, thank you guys for showing up. Don't forget to sign up for Tony's League, Marik Civil War Season 3. I'll link the website. Don't worry, Tony. But yeah, everybody go through and let's do some shoutouts, starting at the bottom with Nanner.
Yeah. Shout out to Sig. We're gonna stomp faces and take babies. I don't know.
What?
And as always, shout out to Lego's mom because I love her.
She's a
Yeah.
wonderful lady.
Yeah, she is a wonderful lady. She makes me lots of cookies.
All
That's
right. And then Heim.
I just want to give a shout out to the CTR team and Harpoon Deer and Nuber and all the guys over there. They really gave me an opportunity to play with them this season. They're a bunch of really nice guys. They're looking to get more into the competitive scene, and I think they're doing a really good job of it. And I'm hoping that they keep that momentum rolling, going into Run Hot or Die Season 3, and if they're in Marik Civil War, that too. So I just wanted to thank them for letting me play with them in the London Invitational. You guys for letting me be on the show.
Hey, and a 3-2 loss to Steel Jag. You guys have gone places very few teams have gone. So, props to you guys. You guys did amazing. And alright. Good job.
Yeah, you guys have BSK this coming week. Siri and I are going to be casting that.
Yeah, we're excited, man. Is
It'll
that
be
the
fun.
new BSK? That's basically with Schopenhauer and stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be a rough team. I hate to tell you guys.
Oh, I know. I'm not looking forward to the extra challenge with Schopenhauer on there, man. He's a really good shot.
Yep.
Every
It's-
time I play him in game, it's like he's always giving me a run for my money and basically hitting me at the same time I'm hitting him. So
Yep. It's going to be fun to watch. I'm excited. Well, and to cast. God, I love that. All right, Tony.
Oh, well, shout out to my crew back at SWK, and last shout out for Marik Civil War. Trial of Position starts this Sunday, so if you're still haven't signed up, you've got a couple of hours to do so. Just get on it. It's gonna be a good season.
All right, and Versi.
Shout out to all the new teams that have suddenly sprung up.
What
Cool
new
teams?
teams?
All the cool teams?
What?
Only
All
two
the cool
new ones.
teams. Love all the new teams / old teams / well, I guess nowadays, what's the hip thing? Hashtag? No. I don't know.
You're not that
the
old,
bigger
dude.
The competitive scene
Shut up.
grows, the more fun that the competitions can have, the new rivalries and all that. So I'm excited for all that, and shout out to Merkstar for putting out information that can help all those teams get better, and the teams that exist helping out and being involved and bringing information to the community, the competitive community.
All right, and Siri.
Well, I was going to give a shout out to our upcoming cast between Comstar Titans of Rage and Blackstone Knights.
Do it again. Do it again.
So I guess I'll still do that. It should be a great match to watch, and I am really happy that Grimlock and or the other BSK guys have got a stream up from their side, because I know there have been a couple matches in the past where we've wanted the cast, and it's just been no streamer. So glad that's up and running. I think Grimlock is now, that he has a new rig built. And I think QQ is also going to, or sorry, CTR.
Yep, Carp is streaming. Actually, hold on, I can tell you guys exactly who's streaming. Keep talking.
They're also going to have a light lead, or a perspective in their light lance, and so that should enrich the show a little bit more, because there's quite a bit of action that happens on the light lance that is hard to keep track of if you don't have a perspective. So, and other than that, just shout out to legal department, new recruit on SJR.
Dude, he's good, man.
Still doesn't know how old I am and hasn't given me his guess, so I'm waiting on that.
Dude, so when we ran into you guys earlier today, I spent like 3 minutes looking at his name. I was like, get little something or other. Just shoot him in the back. And then I was like, oh, it's legal department. Oh, that's awesome. I love that name. Streamers. Okay, so now that I'm done making a fool of myself, not quite. Streamers for next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, the 29th, will be the next War Room Shoutcast of the Remnant Invitational between Comstar Titans of Rage and the Blackstone Knights. Streamers will be Carpentier for Comstar Titans of Rage and Grimlock for Blackstone Knights. So I am looking forward to that. Siri, I'm sure, is excited. We've been having a lot of fun with that. Last time was a blast. Made some improvements to the overlay, so hopefully should look even a little bit better, and going to be able to analyze games a lot better in between matches. So look for an announcement on that in the next couple days. Let you know who the guests are going to be to come on in between and talk. Hopefully it goes as smooth as it did last time.
I will say that overlay, sweet.
Yeah,
Very
it was
sweet.
awesome. And for not having a light lance perspective, from playing in the game and then watching the stream afterwards, you guys actually were pretty spot on where you thought the lights were going. So great job on that too.
It's honestly all that minimap. Blowing up the minimap is so helpful. I tested it on my own, like making sure that I could do it watching SWK versus SJR. And when I knew it was a good idea when I saw the light lance pull away to go cap on that last game, and I was like, oh shit, lights are going for cap. Oh. So yeah.
I feel like I need to interject that it used to just be dead space, and I was like, Ruffle, I hate this dead space. Can we put the minimap there?
It's true,
So,
it did. First generation of that overlay was terrible. It's a good thing I have somebody to bounce ideas off of. All
we're
right.
actually going to probably make it bigger for next time.
Yeah, it's going to fill up that whole space next to it, so minimap will be even bigger. Hopefully the quality doesn't look too trash, but yeah. All right. Shoutouts for me. I'm going to try and get back on top of doing the news now that the leagues.
Did you just shout
out
out yourself?
I said shoutouts for me, so like my shoutouts to everybody else. I'm gonna try and get back on top of the news now that the leagues are going and I have things to do news about. So hopefully I'll get that on Monday. Next episode of War Room will be next Thursday. Somebody in chat mentioned talking about the new light. We'll probably do that next week. Not that it's actually been announced, but we'll speculate if they haven't confirmed it yet. And then, that being said, wait, who said that was going to come out? Because I'm pretty sure the Griffin and the Wolverine still have to be released. So I think we've got 2 more
PGI
months.
said.
Forgot all about those.
It's
Technically,
pretty
sure we got 2
mechs
more
a month
months.
then. Wait, in all technicality, that's 2 mechs a month, isn't it? Well, I mean, that's really stretching it with the Seabell thing, but
Yeah.
that's not something they've
I
really
want the
done before,
Spectre.
is release 2 mechs available to all players.
It's true.
in 1 month.
I think both Russ and Brian have mentioned it's a new mech. Brian,
Yeah.
Huh.
Ryan mentioned it first, and it was a controversial 35-ton mech.
I want
All right,
the
killer.
the
No, 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 no,
Spectre
no, no,
so
no,
bad.
yep, 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 yep. I'm gonna mute you, motherfuckers. We're done. We're done for tonight. I'm doing my shoutouts. We'll talk about it next week, though. That is an interesting thing to talk about. I'll try and get some more information for you guys. Quick, really super shameless self-plug. I made a donate button for my stream, so if you want to donate to help my content and actually like reward me, because I put in a lot of goddamn time on this stuff, and not that I don't totally love doing it, but I would love to make the stream better quality, etc., etc.
And does cost Raffle some real world cash to be able to do the live stream with all of
God.
our webcams. So
Don't talk
toss
about
him-
how much I hate Skype. We're not going to bring that up.
So toss him some dosh
I'm-
and help him out.
I will bring this up as infrequently as possible, but I just wanted
That's
to
why I'm plugging for you.
thank
Every
you.
$5 buys him a new.
God
white
damn it.
Russian.
No, I really just wanted to mention that it was there. I don't want to be like a money grubbing whore.
Ignore
Every-
the amount of money he spends on the liquor he drinks on War Room.
Shut up.
Every $10 gets Nanner a new plush doll. I'm just saying.
God damn it. Yeah, so look for new content. As I mentioned before, there will be a stream next week Wednesday for the match, and then there will also be War Room next Thursday. So thank you very much everybody for coming on, and thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Reactor
Adios.
online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.